What's up everyone, this is Ataccama, co-founder of AIMP Poland, JS Poland and AI Poland. Welcome back to AI Master Podcast. Today we have a very special guest joining us from Czech Republic, developer advocate at CKEditor, software engineer, speaker, blogger and YouTuber. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ondřej Chrastina.
Hello everyone, thanks for having me.
For those who don't know you, please tell us about yourself and what you do.
Basically, I started as the developer in the content management and digital experience platform. So I was developing these kind of things and I got into the content management world. Then we kind of put together the internal startup and we started implementing the headless content management systems. And that basically spread throughout the 10 years, I guess. And at the last 3 or 4 years there, I was getting into the developer relations, developer advocacy, creating videos, tutorials, sample application. And at the end, I was basically leading the team and managing the open source offering for this content management system. And during the time, I basically switched from .NET purist, let's call it this way. I just was using only .NET. .NET was done and the best for everything, in my opinion, at the time. But slowly I got to the open source world and got to the JavaScript stack and also for a little bit of a Java. Then I switched a little bit to the data quality and data management platform. And then I slowly got back to the content editing itself, not content modeling, content management, but content editing itself. And here I'm back for after decades, I'm working back as a developer advocate at CKEditor.
What is CKEditor 5 and how does it differ architecturally from earlier versions?
So long story short, CKEditor itself, doesn't matter the version, was always the tool for providing the rich text editing. You basically plug it into your application, you can white label it and use it in your application directly. And it basically provides you the tooling and the stuff for content editing, content creation, content ideation, and so on and so forth. So this is the core of what CKEditor was for versions. Version 4 was basically like that, but architecturally, it was using the DOM. So you just basically were writing the text, you were modifying the headings, paragraphs, you were doing your daily content editing or content management work. And under the hood, the editor was changing the virtual DOM, not virtual DOM, this is important. It was using or managing the actual DOM, which is nice because it's fairly simple and you can do many things with that. But with CKEditor 5, the architecture completely changed because you need to have a little bit more flexibility, because if you are working just with DOM, you can't really change to other formats. You can't add any more semantics that the HTML itself provides. So this MVC architecture basically introduced the abstract model and scheme definition that allows you to provide any semantics. So if you just compare version 4 and version 5 from the outside, they are basically doing the same as the user. Under the hood, you can plug and play everything into the version 5 much easily because you have abstract model, you can define your plugins, you can define your structures, and it's much easier, for example, to output various formats, not just the HTML, because it does not really heavily rely on the DOM structure. It relies on the defined model, which is much more, let's say, abstracted. I think we are calling it schemaless core, which basically means you can customize it as you want. So you just provide the limits and the definition for the semantics of the model, and then the core or the whole framework will start working for you. And this also allows much more feature than just editing content, like content collaboration, versioning, and the things that are making the CKEditor that powerful.
In your view, what are the core challenges of CKEditor in modern web applications?
The first thing is, it's very easy to start with. So you just go through the builder, basically a wizard where you click through and you will get the first writing draft. But then there is like this middle section that if you want to extend it, customize it, or configure it, you need to know how the framework works. So there is a little bit steeper learning curve in the middle, which me as a developer advocate and my colleagues are working to overcome much more easily with the videos and tutorials and showcases. But this is something that's a little bit different from the others. On the other side, if you use AI, you can really speed up your development and get to the point that you are confident with the framework pretty quickly. And then it gives you a little bit more flexibility than the others. So I would say that this is one of the challenges for CKEditor 5 when you are putting it into the modern web application. So if you really want to put it into your infrastructure and have it everywhere unified, this is where you can use its power, but first you need to learn the framework itself.
How do you see generative AI and language models interacting with rich text editors like CKEditor?
This is a little bit of a tricky question because you kind of need to find out the common language or some interface, as you would call it as a developer, because the LLMs itself, they are being trained on the text and without even any semantics, any prepositions and these kind of things. But when you are using or working with a rich text editor, it most of the time either works with HTML or any other markup language or Markdown or these kind of things that adds additional value to the text, which LLM has no idea about. And they are kind of need to find a way and you need to provide it with the context or like the idea how the whole things works. Yeah, with CK, also you need to provide it with information how the model works. But this is something that we can go deeper if you want later.
Are there a specific use case you envision where AI could enhance CKEditor, like formatting, content suggestions, summarization?
Yeah, like the one that you basically specified or mentioned, they are already in place in various editors, content management systems, even in the document processors. So they are already in place. If you're writing an email, it will suggest you the next word. It can help you with the voice and tone and these kind of things. But still, you are using text as the common language, not the formatting, not the rich text, the markup and the semantic. It's hard to provide it with suggestions of this. And yeah, you basically hit a spot on because we have just released CKEditor AI, which is an add-on with various features that will help you to write the content, but not just the content, but help you with the whole process. So content ideation, content creation, then content review, and all of this, it will work within the rich text context. So not just using the text itself, but providing you with suggestions which won't first ruin your formatting, and second will use the formatting in the suggestions. So no more copy and pasting from the other tools and then reformatting it again and then adding links and so on and so forth. You will get everything at once with various features in this add-on set.
In your blog post, AI-assisted development, use cases, prompt practices, and examples for devs, you discuss combining AI with CKEditor workflows. Could you elaborate one or two of those examples?
Yes, definitely. This is kind of cross functional effort because we are not just developing and releasing the CKEditor AI, but we are also using AI to develop the CKEditor itself, the whole platform, the framework, and so on and so forth. We also provide the cloud services, so even for like creating the cloud infrastructure, we are using these. And I took the liberty to get the guides or guidelines from the internal resources, how to use the AI. I used my experience, I combined it all together, and I kind of tried to use this knowledge and these practices to write down the CKEditor plugin and some integration. I think the plugin was something with the widgets, and integration was with, I think, Plotty, which is the charting engine, so that you can have the charts right in your editor. So I was playing with that, and I was using these common practices, and once I had the, let's say, common idea, which are super important, I just put together the blog post about these best practices and the prompt examples for developers, so that they can just read it through, try it out. They will actually see the code that I produce, so they will see like how it worked, not just work with the promises that these are the practices, use them. So that was basically how I did it. I used the guidelines, and I built the sample code or sample integrations for CKEditor.
What are the main technical challenges of integration AI into an editor environment like CKEditor, especially regarding latency, context, size, or hallucinations?
These issues are general for basically any integrating of the LLM. We of course faced them in the development of CKEditor AI. But there is one important thing, that we are providing a platform. Even, for example, for content collaboration, you basically install your CKEditor, you turn on the API keys, you provide the endpoints to our services, and that's it. You're not basically caring about the under the hood services, monitoring, and so on and so forth, because we are providing it SaaS and on-premise. With AI, we are going the same way. So we are providing the service for you. So you just install the add-on and you're done. You are not taking care of the latency, content size, and hallucinations on the user sides, nor on the integrator sides. Like, integrator is like someone who is integrating the editor into your infrastructure. So yes, there were challenges. The most important challenge that I can share was to learn and teach LLM how to work with HTML. And there is a secret sauce in that, how we are working with that. But at the end of the day, you should just get the stream of the suggestions, which are being used the same as you would probably collaborate with actual human that you would do, for example, the ideation or content review.
How do you see the role of prompt engineering when working with editor-based AI features?
Yeah, I will again based it on the CKEditor AI and like this whole of the idea that we are trying to not push but define. First, we would like to cut out all of the hard setup for the prompt. I know it's super quick, but you need to know how to write a prompt, how to make an example, how to format this, let's say, structured prompt itself, how to provide it with the contents, and so on and so forth. We are trying to do this heavy lifting, and in your prompt or in your question, you should just provide your expertise. So you are the subject matter expert for manufacturing, and you are creating your report, like monthly report for your boss or for some certification company or something. This is where what you should provide into prompt, like, hey, this is what I need to do, or hey, this is the document, learn it and use these guidelines for that, and do the work. We will take care of all of the stuff that should guardrail the process, that should orchestrate it, that should take care of checking the output, take care of not ruining your rich tags and these kind of things. So we are focusing of like the role of prompt engineering is still there. You need to know how to ask the AI, and you are using the same generic rules at first, but you have the very big part of the context engineering already being provided by the platform, as well as you have the customization and configuration options as an integrator.
Could you walk us through how you made architect a system where editors can autonomously generate or refine content using AI while preserving user control?
The short answer, once again, you don't need to. We are doing the heavy lifting. But if I would try to get under the hood of a little bit of the CKEditor itself, first, and this is how we build the CKEditor AI, we are trying to work as the human in the loop should always oversee it. And we are trying to not diverge from the normal workflow that people are used to. So we are using the actual or already implemented features like versioning, tracking changes, which are already in the CKEditor, but the LLM is doing these providing these suggestions. It's providing them in the separate version. You know that who does these changes, like, hey, this was AI, or hey, you approved this change, so that you are still in the loop, you are still accountable, and you have the control over what you want and what you need. So this was the first thing. And the second thing is you need to linearize the work, because LLMs are super great in parallelization, processors like computers as well. But if you ask person to linearize, to parallelize their work, you can't really or at least me, I can't really keep track of like multiple things being done once. I like to have them like once after each other, and then you can keep track. So even without all of the tooling that we are providing, I think you still need to define your workflow to be a little bit more linear if you want to have people in the loop and still have them in control.
How do you balance flexibility and safety when embedding AI features in CKEditor?
First of all, safety. Itself, the whole framework, the whole platform is being built by the standards. It's trying, or like it's doing everything, or like what it does, you see. So you have all the versions of the suggestions that are in place, and if the change is being done, is being tracked. So you have it out of the box. If you're not using versioning, you can also handle these versions and changes yourself. You can log what you want. So it gives you this flexibility of basically prevent or track, let's say, some insecure stuff. But there are features out of the box. Yeah, the base one is the sanitization of the HTML, but there are more like security checks that are in place. If you are connected to the server and service, there is authentication and all of the process. So there is nothing super groundbreaking, but LLM always generates something, is not 100% deterministic. So first of all, you have suggestions that you can approve, retry, or decline. Like, this is fairly easy change. But if something goes really wrong, there are ways how you can prevent it. We have a set of errors, which is something that is super like in the CK, because if something gives you an error, me as a developer, I always just open up the console, I click, and you have the list of the errors with their description and with possible solutions. So there is a set of errors even for like, I don't know, network connection issues, or like the things that are not really bound to the LLM itself, but it can lead, let's say, to the half of the suggestions because your internet just went down or something like that.
Are you experimenting with CKEditor plugins that leverage AI?
Well, there are some. Ideally, all of the features should be covered in the CKEditor AI. But on the other hand, we can do basically everything. So, for example, CKEditor AI itself, we are not fine-tuning the models and LLMs. We are using well-known models under the hood. You can choose which one you want to use. You can choose them based on the task that you are working on, or based on the expected bill, which is also important right now. But we have the predecessor being before the CKEditor AI. CKEditor had AI Assistant plugin, which is basically just the noded infrastructure for asking AI for something and getting the results back and just putting them to the HTML. But we already had people or customers that were using it, and that they had let's say asks to extend it. So we already tried to cover it just by asking them. But there is a lot of initiatives around. For example, Drupal CMS has this Drupal AI modules, which is like set of, and I think it's at least 15, but I think it's a little bit more, for creating or using AI for various things like content modeling and content versioning and designing and these kind of things. And one of them is AI for CK. So there are plugins that are already using AI a little bit differently. Some feature set is overlapping, but there are already some in place. So it's definitely possible, and you can even integrate your AI if you have some very specific use case. You can just build a plugin based on it and like based on your AI and integrate it this way, because that's at the end of the day, you can just generate, for example, the charts. Yeah, if you really have really nice LLM that you can feed with, let's say, unstructured data and get the visualization, like for example, Napkin AI. I think this is where you or where we should keep track and integrate, because we are expert in the content creation and content management. We probably won't be expert in big data and basically fine-tune the LLMs for these.
Given CKEditor is often used in enterprise or content platforms, how do you handle privacy, data governance, and GDPR concerns when AI is involved?
Yeah, if you want to follow, and first, there are big enterprises and they have big requirements. So it's definitely necessary to have these in place. But if you want to be compliant with GDPR and these kind of things, you need to implement the processes for development, for testing, for review, and basically for the whole software development lifecycle. So when we implemented the CKEditor, we follow them. When we are implementing the new functionality, we follow them. So the AI is included in this part, so it implicitly follows these processes. So everything should be in place, and just with us keeping the certification and let's say following the processes ensures that we have all the requirements in place.
What kind of metrics or signals would you collect to evaluate whether AI integration in CKEditor are actually improving user outcomes, productivity, and satisfaction?
This is always a tricky, and it's a little bit of a double-edged weapon, because you can't really take the prompt and can take the content and the response and the suggestions and put them into some OLAP and then have analysis on it. Yeah, I think customers wouldn't really appreciate it. So we don't even start it with thumbs up and thumbs down, because essentially, if you think about it, if you think about it, if you apply a suggestion, the suggestion was probably good. If you retry the suggestion and then apply it, was still probably something closer. If you completely dismiss and do it again, you probably either gave the big bad prompt, or you are trying to do something different. So these are the signals that we can aggregate, and then we can analyze. Yeah, it's really, there is a really thin line in between like analysis and then like basically exploring what people do. So we are heavily aggregating this data. So basically applied versus retry numbers are the, let's say, core metric, which what I like in the CKEditor AI, and I didn't really look or saw it, because maybe people are keeping it under the shield, but we have a set of end-to-end tests. And now end-to-end testing in AI, it's hard and it's new, because it's not deterministic. It's not like, hey, if I ask this, you will reply me with that. You need to have a set of qualified people that are doing these. So first of all, we had the list of the use cases before, from the customers, from the research calls, and for the discovery calls. So we already put them out at the beginning. Yeah, they were all red, of course, before the implementation. And we are like aiming to have them fairly stable in between the versions, in between the development. And if somebody, like the new customer, like potential customer, wants to have the use case that we probably didn't think of, and he's either okay to share the data or okay to provide some sample data, how they would expect it to work, we can put it to this end-to-end test, which is nice, but long term, it will give us much more stability, or because we will run this test regressively, right? So we will get this same level of quality over the version. So if the new model is out, we can test it out and see like, hey, is it actually better for our specific use cases, or is it better generally, but we should probably wait another minor version or something like that. So I think this evaluation quality is much more important than the applied and retry numbers. And I'm thinking now about the last one, which is the demo data, because if you go to CKEditor.com and if you go to demos, you see the CKEditor AI, and you can basically play with that. And this is super nice because it's a demo environment. Nobody will put the super secret information in there. They will just probably copy and paste some Times article or like some sample data or use the predefined data. But they will ask a thing or two, and then we'll see like if they are, I don't know, using the custom resources, if they are using reasoning, how they are basically evaluating the first touches with the CKEditor AI.
In your opinion, what is the future role of rich text editors in AI-driven world? Will they become more intelligent assistant than passive editors?
Yeah, I think the editor itself will still have its place, whether it will be a rich text editor or like basically providing the gate to put the data in, right? Now it's text. It can be, and I think this might change a little bit. So it might be a voice, then transfer to text. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to see how we are going to solve this thing of putting the semantics. Because now even if you are dictating the prompts, putting punctuation is fine, but like putting formatting, like hey, format this into the heading and then do the table out of this file and these kind of things, it's still fairly evolving. So I think there will be multiple ways of inputting the data. Yeah, the was the now fancy name, multimodality, right? Of putting the various data into the model and in various ways. But I think they will become like the AI itself will just help with providing the information as effectively as possible, because now writing the content and then adjusting it and writing the rich text, I think it's still, even if you are super pro, it's still fairly slow, even if you are really good. So I think they will become an assistant, and they will even become like the overseer or like basically checker what you are doing, whether you are not going to the wrong direction. Like for example, yeah, when I'm writing an article, I tend to branch a lot of to a lot of things and not stick with the main point and these kind of things. So I think they will get to the point that they will be like the basically ghosting you and tell like, hey, are you actually doing what you wanted to do at the beginning, or did you started swiping on the on the Twitter as the side quest, right? So I think this will be their role, but there will be, most of the time there will be the human in the loop, because yeah, you don't want to just generate the article and don't even read them.
As AI evolves rapidly, which advancement most excites you for integration into CKEditor?
For me, this is this overseer. Like, it's super hard, and CKEditor AI is providing the framework to define, let's say, your business-oriented prompts. Because having an AI and actually using it is completely different way of working with AI. So if we have the tool set in CKEditor AI, I'm super curious how the customers and of course in combination with our help, will use this setup to build them the, let's say, assistant that fits their needs. Because for me, and when I started with CKEditor AI and I was looking around, for me the only use case was like writing articles, because I was writing an article and I was writing a lot of articles, so I can grasp this. But if you start implementing with big manufacturing company that is needing like have completely different needs, I really like how the AI can be put in there. So these are the things that I am super interested in. And yeah, ideally, then you will just see how even the AI is working or doing the content for you, just like thinking about it or something like that, right?
So how do you see collaboration features like track changes, comments, interacting with AI assistants?
Well, in CKEditor AI is the base. And I think it should be, because yeah, first you need to have the overseeing and you need to have the governance over the content you are producing. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be just the report, but it can be super crucial analysis. You need to know who did the change, how, and when it was introduced, and maybe, or ideally, not maybe, to be able to get back, right? So it's crucial. Like track changes, okay, you can kind of do it separately and then put it in there. I think this is nice, but having the way of suggesting things, still nice to have. But versioning is, and track changes are like versioning with metadata information is super important. Like track changes, I see like a benefit, because track changes is basically following what you do and creating a diff for you. So it's basically just some facade or something like that. But actually have the versions, be able to browse through them, have diffs out of that. This is for me crucial, because maybe in the future we won't have, or there won't be just like one LLM AI assistant or one AI assistant working with you. It will be maybe 5 or 10, and they will do a lot of changes. For now, I still think it's not that possible, because our cognitive acceptance is more of a linear. It's possible to do that with CKEditor AI, but you probably don't want to, because yeah, then you would be overwhelmed if you have multiple things to do.
From a community perspective, what role do you think open source and community contribution should play in AI features for editors?
Yeah, first, open source. I think having CKEditor core open sourced is super important for us, because then we can see the community and open source plugins being built and provided, and ask for review or trying to put them into the infrastructure. Because yeah, writing the plugin is easy. Maintaining the open source repository when people are relying on you is something a little bit different. So this is, I think, super interesting, because there will be integrations with other AIs and with approach differently the, let's say, AI content management. And this is great, because first it keeps us on our toes, and we can keep track on it. But on the other side, we see how people would like to use it, because yeah, sometimes you have really specific use case and it's easier to customize it, but at least we see it and we can add it to the roadmap. So these are the things that I really like. And yeah, when I started in developer relations, our motto, which I'm really proud of that we put together, was we help developers to help each other. And if you have a really active and good community, essentially in the long term, it can even help you with helping others. So you don't really need to go side by side, because community can solve some of the issues for you. Of course, they won't like support you all the time. They won't be there 24/7. You need a paid service for that. But I think this is a really great place where you can go and start exploring, because yeah, if you have welcoming and if you have welcoming community, it's just gives you much more credibility in the long term.
In non-English or less resourced languages, what are the obstacles and opportunities for AI-assisted editing in CKEditor?
So the first one is, and I thought it's obvious because, and probably for you as well, because you are mostly working in English, but you are Polish, I'm Czech. And sometimes you are having the content in, or like you are working with something in English, and then you, I don't know, you switch context and you switch back and you forget that you were using English and you switch to Polish, or in my case, to Czech. And LLMs can get fairly creative with that. And sometimes, since, for example, for me, Czech and Slovakian is fairly close, it can start replying in Slovakian. Sometimes it just think of some combination of English and Czech and these kind of things. So multiple languages, like solving this problem and detecting what language is used for what, is crucial. So, for example, if you have your document in English and you ask it in Polish, it should be it's a little bit trickier. The harder thing, and I didn't really find any use case, but you can put the first half of your content in English, then in Polish, or have a quote in Polish or something like that. It can get tricky because HTML have some way of marking these parts with the language definition, but language detection is, and I mean with the multiple languages and split it nicely, it's a really tough job to do.
What advice would you give to a team waiting to build their own AI-powered editor extension for CK?
First of all, start what we already have and go to CKEditor.com/CK editor-AI and see what we have, or just go to the demo, play with that a little bit. You will get the grasp of what we can do. You will get the touch and feeling how you are able to manage content, because this is also super important to see how you can, I don't know, create the quote, or making the nested list and making the table and so on and so forth. So you will have this touch and feeling. If it fits, use it, or just take a look at it, because I always try to prefer taking the component ideally than to implement it myself. But sometimes you are not fitting into this category. Then I would definitely start with trying it out on myself with the code. So then you can just go to the CKEditor builder. You click through the presets. One of the presets is AI. And there are 2 or 3 ways how you can integrate it, with the real-time collaboration features, with the asynchronous collaboration features. And the look and feel is a little bit different. At the end of the day, under the hood, it's the same editor. But you can just have the preset, you generate it in your favorite framework. So I would probably go React or Vanilla.js just to get a grasp, get to the core point. And then when you have it running, just play with the configuration, because most of the time the configuration and customization in CKEditor, it's well enough to adjust the behavior as you want to. And if it still doesn't really fit, create your own plugin. And you will see that if it makes sense for you, then you will touch the base with the framework. You will see how you can hook into the pipelines. And then I would just basically recommend go to the documentation of the CKEditor. There is integration with Kappa AI, which is awesome. You don't need to search for anything. You just ask what you want. It will tell you how to, for example, create a plugin, because creating a plugin is basically 3 steps, maybe 4 if you want to. But at the end of the day, just go to the documentation, try to extend it yourself, and you will see how it goes.
So finally, what is your vision for CKEditor in 5 or 10 years, especially in relation to AI? How do you hope it evolves?
Kind of hard to guess in 5 to 10 years, because if someone would ask me what happened in 1 year with the AI, I wouldn't probably guess right. But let's say that it will go this pace. It won't go exponentially, but it won't stop. I think CKEditor evolved from just the rich text editor into the whole platform for your content creation. So we have collaboration services. We are providing you with the cloud services. So I think this way we will need to go. So it won't be just a text editor. It will be the whole platform that allows you to configure and help you with your content management workflow, like content ideation, creation, and review. But I think this will be like in 5 years that we will basically evolve this way. If you take a look to this more distant future, like 10 years, I think we still need to like keep our expertise, which is we are basically a gate from humans to the library, or like the library of the information, right? Because you basically write your content and you send it somewhere, it's being stored, and then it's being rendered somewhere else. Even if you're sending an email, the flow is basically the same. But the editor itself is that gate. So if we are going to provide a valuable service with AI, this gate needs to know that on the other side won't be most of the time, or like not all the time, just the human, but it will be another service or some robot or something like that, and we'll just provide the, let's say, the translator or the gate in between two. So that would be my guess of 5 to probably 8 years, not 10. In 10, you will just put your neural link and you are done.
How do you keep improving your skills as a software engineer?
Yeah, it's tough because if you're doing the developer advocate full time, most of the time, like, you are not actually doing the software development. So you're not following the whole strict rules of, I don't know, for GDPR and these kind of things. You're basically just setting up the sample. You are asking around whether if it would work also in this controlled environment and so on and so forth. So for me, I watch a lot of YouTube lately. I thought that I will always just use documentation and reading format. But yeah, lately I just use a lot of YouTube. I ask a lot of questions, a lot, especially our engineers and our software developers, as well as I ask AI to help me, because yeah, it's always right on point, or at least right on it's always right on time, but sometimes it's not 100% right on point and it doesn't really have their opinion. So yeah, I'm asking people and AI, and yeah, I like to learn by doing, which is yeah kind of a curse because you need to do a lot of stuff. But yeah, if you want to be a good software engineer, you need to do the software development. And it doesn't really need to be a big project, but you still need to touch the base.
What motivates you to stay productive and inspired in such a demanding role?
Yeah, since I switched from the developer from the engineering to the developer relations, I of course like to be seen, like to be here, and I like the satisfaction that when people say, "Hey, I saw you on the YouTube, I saw you on the video, it was good." Like I like the second part. Like when people see me, it's fine, but if they tell me it's good, I still have like this uh, feel of satisfaction or recognition, which I think motivates me. And yeah, also I'm trying to surround myself with the people that are being either inspiring or which are being the drivers, so I can like see and be in this flow.
What's one thing about you that most people don't know?
Okay, so no more super secrets, but I don't not sure. Yeah, lately I was mushroom picking. One, I try to make it as much as possible. I have time like once or twice a year if it's this time of the year. So I really love mushroom picking. On the other side, I hate like cleaning the mushrooms up and like post processing them. So ideally, I just took them and then I gave them to my girlfriend or to my mom to have them cleaned and prepped. But yeah, this is something that most people don't know because yeah, I don't have time for this, so I don't really talk about it that much.
Your favorite travel destination?
I still have a feeling that I didn't really travel that much. Like I traveled to a lot of places, but yeah, there are still big variety of places that I've been to. So I don't want to say favorite because it might be the next one that I'm going to. But lately, I start to going to mountains like close by because we have a cottage there, and I really like to see the difference because there is no AI, there is no technology per se. Yeah, there is a TV and internet and so on and so forth, but it's not a big city. And yeah, we are reconstructing the cottage, so you can even like switch off completely, and doing the manual work can completely reset your brain. So I think it's not a favorite travel destination, but it's really I really like it there. So yeah, this destination kind of suits me right now.
Ondřej, thank you so much for this amazing discussion. It was pleasure to have you here. And for all our listeners, please subscribe the channel, ring the bell, smash the button, and see you in the next episode.